every coach who doesn't win is going to come under fire. Jason Garrett, as much or more so than anybody there. I think everybody recognized it. Someone said to me this morning in the cafe, is Jason Garrett's time coming to an end? And I said, every coach's time is coming to an end.
Is his coming to an end soon, like as in before the season ends?
Anything is possible. I mean, I don't have an – listen,
I want answers, Schefter. Don't hem and haw with me.
That did not help his cause last night. Okay?
Well, it is amazing, by the way.
People will look back on that for a while because there was no gumption. There was no fortitude. Like, go for it, man.
Well,
come on.
It's been favorable throughout the league. We had them crunch the numbers here. The last 5 seasons through the first 5 weeks of going forward on 4th and 1. In 2018, teams are converting at the highest clip since then. 76% of 4th and 1 conversions
over the last 5 years.
Over the last 5 years, it's the highest. It was 66% in 14, 67% in 2015, 67 in 16, 71% in 2017, and it's at 76% going into tonight.
And by the way, this team is built on your offensive line and your running game.
Correct.
So you are built. Forgetting even the running back. 235-pound quarterback. Do what they did in the Rams. Quarterback sneak. I mean, seriously.
Sean McVay was not as far along. And look what he did.
Yep.
He went for it, and they won the game because of it.
Absolutely right.
Look, I'm not a guy who usually gets worked up over calls like that, but I'm watching it, and I don't like to second-guess anything. I'm not one of these opinionated guys. Let's see how it plays. But even I'm watching it, I'm going, you're punting the ball? Come on.
How do you not go for that there, especially when you went for it earlier? By the way, your quarterback's name is Rain Dakota Prescott. He was named after the biggest bull in the cartoon, the Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. He's literally named after a bull, so you'd think your bull could get a half a yard and keep the thing going.
So that didn't obviously work out well for the Cowboys. How about, again, we keep talking about the officiating in the league, and we've obviously former players have spoken up. Current players have spoken up. Now Mike Tomlin has spoken, and Mike Tomlin really went off on this one a little bit, but then stopped short, saying, "I'm not going to say anymore." Saying he was pretty ticked at the officials for the calls. He said the NFL better get its act together. Where is this going to go?
Well, first of all, Mike Tomlin's on the competition committee.
Yeah.
So when you've got a member of the competition committee saying that the calls on a week-to-week basis are a quote-unquote joke, that is an indictment, as much of an indictment as we could ever get on a Sunday. And look, I can't tell you how many times I speak to teams on a Monday. Like, they are enraged by calls in games. And it's as old as time, I guess. But it does seem like I'm hearing even more of that this year and in recent years.
Is there a reason, Mike, you explained it this morning, you explain it now. Is this a viable reason, what you're going to hear now?
Well, I thought Kevin Seifert, one of our NFL Nation reporters, referenced an article that he wrote in July saying that going into the season, there had been so much turnover amongst the officiating ranks, and because these rules were put into place and voted on so late that they were put at a deficit and right to start with, just by nature of, we think about this all the time. We're talking about how great it is that the 4 rookie quarterbacks all won in the same week for the first time ever after going 0 for the other week. And now you're in a situation where, we don't expect much out of them because they're rookies, because they're new and got a lot on their plate. That's kind of the same for the officials at this point. So is it at this point expected that there would be this level of growing pains? Because it's sort of seesaw. Double-digit penalties for this one week, single-digit for the next. It's back and forth right now.
And it's lack consistency. And it seems like officials are very consistent from week to week, from game to game, to crew to crew. So I think Kevin is exactly right. That's exactly. You saw some of these veteran officials who also, by the way, sometimes were questioning themselves.
Yeah. Sure.
Now leave the game, and you have much less experienced officials coming in, and it leads to what we have with Mike Tomlin calling the penalties a joke.
All right, Adam Schefter with us, our NFL insider. Odell Beckham Jr. in his comments after the Giants loss, where he had a great game, 8 catches, 131 yards, first touchdown catch, threw a touchdown pass, said he galvanized the locker room with his comments. Are we buying that?
Well, they did play an inspired effort, and they played well yesterday. But to say that it galvanized a lot, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, when I initially heard these comments, I'm thinking, as a former newspaper writer, boy, if that team loses on Sunday, that post-game locker room, and that locker room is going to be ugly.
Finito.
Ugly. Finito. That was a great line.
Fantastic. But this is not the end of this, right? This is not. I mean, Pat Shurmur can say it's finito, but until they win 3 in a row, it's not finito.
No, I think these are comments to follow you. And there are really a couple of things. Again, when Josina Anderson, who did a great job during the interview, asked him if Eli was the quarterback that was right for this offense? He said, I don't know, right? When she asked him about playing in New York, I don't know. So you just signed this long contract, and you're casting questions about your quarterback and your city. Those are two things that I think that make everybody a little uneasy about the whole thing. And it's just one of those things. If they had won, everything quiets down. They didn't. Maybe I think it did inspire them a little bit, Trey. I did. I think it did inspire them to play a good game yesterday.